The concept of surface area to volume ratios explains why smaller cells are more efficient, and specialized exchange surfaces, strategies, and structures allow for efficient nutrient and waste exchange. So when we get to math, we start looking at the AP formula sheet. We see all this stuff about surface area, and then we see all this stuff about volume. And that leads us to this idea where we have to find surface and volume for different shapes. So if we take a look at this, crank out the math, we get our total surface area, we get our total volume, and we divide those two to get a surface area to volume ratio of 1.5 to 1. If we break down those cubes smaller, we still would have the same overall volume. However, there's a lot more surfaces exposed, which then increases the surface area to volume ratio. Even smaller, same total volume, more surface area, greater surface area to volume ratio. So as we see this trend, big cubes have small surface area to volume. As we get smaller, we increase the surface area to volume ratio. So a large cell will have a smaller surface area to volume ratio, and it will be less efficient at exchanging nutrients and waste. Smaller cell, greater surface area to volume ratio, and much more efficient exchange. So we also have complex structures, all these different membranes folding. If we look at our small intestine, it is 6 meters long, but it has the total surface area of a tennis court. As we zoom in, we can see that there are villi on the folds. And those villi have all of these little individual cells that are all very small. But if we zoom in even further, we can see that on the villi, there are microvilli and even smaller extensions to increase the surface area. When we think about mold on fruit like strawberries, we can see that there are very thin strands of hyphae. If we look at roots, not only do we just have roots, but we have root hairs. But we can go even further and look at the symbiotic relationship between mycorrhizae. That increases the surface area of the roots 10 to 1,000 fold, and 90% of all terrestrial plants have this relationship with the fungus in order to increase the uptake of phosphorus. We also have specialized exchange surfaces, so we can look at a leaf and we zoom in, and there is an exchange surface here, and it brings us to this idea of stomata, where we are exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide. And we have these structures, these vacuoles within the guard cells around the stomata, that as we do exchange with ions, we also exchange water, which then can open the stomata and allow for the exchange of nutrients and waste. There are also specialized strategies for different things like paramecium, single-celled protista. So they're surrounded by these cilia, which allow them to sweep substances and nutrients into their gullet. And as it does digestion, it can then excrete the waste through anal pores. So we can see from the surface area to volume ratio, smaller cells are more efficient, and there are specialized surfaces, strategies, and structures to efficiently obtain nutrients and eliminate waste.